We are looking at a 5,000 share order.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Google Cloud Live. I'm Brenda Flynn, the partnerships lead for Kaggle, and one of the people who's working on this course. We are excited to welcome a new cohort to our brand new course, 5 Days of Vibe Coding Agents. I'm here with my colleagues helping lead the course, Smitha Kolan and Anant Nawalgaria. Many of you know Anant well from his work as the Master of Ceremonies for the 5 Days of AI live streams we've held over the past few years. He's also been an important author of course materials, specializing in the creation of white papers. When not working on the course, Anant researches and implements cutting-edge agentic solutions for Google Cloud customers. Anant, introduce yourself.
Hi, Brenda. Thanks a lot for the introduction. And hi, everyone as well. So as Brenda mentioned, I'm excited to be here with you. I work a lot on working on cutting-edge research and turning it into product to make it available to developers like yourself and various companies around the world. And in the rest of my time, I love to work on developer enablement and evangelism in courses like this one, as well as other material, and also work and enable companies solve problems with the latest AI technology and tools. Excited to have you here. Off to you, Brenda.
I'm also super excited to introduce Smitha. Smitha has long been a leading voice in teaching the world how to use machine learning and artificial intelligence solutions. She's a senior developer relations engineer at Google Cloud, focused on agentic systems. I am delighted to announce that Smitha will be joining the 5 Days course as a live stream host in this upcoming edition. Smitha, tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Brenda and Anant. Hi, everyone. I'm Smitha Kolan, a senior developer relations engineer here at Google Cloud, focused on building agentic systems. So I've spent years teaching machine learning and AI to developer communities across the world. And what I really love about my role is actually getting to sit right at the intersection of cutting edge research and the developers actually building with it. So I'm beyond excited to join Anant as a co-host for the 5 Days live stream this time around. If you've been building with AI for a while or you're just getting started, either way, I cannot wait to go on this journey with you.
Amazing. We're really excited to have you as part of this scrappy crew. The reason that we've hosted these intensive courses on AI and agents over the last few years is because of how quickly the world of AI and agentic development is evolving. Like when we hosted the first course, agents weren't even a thing. When Anant proposed that first course, it was in response to the realization that even publishing this material in a book would take too long. It would be out of date before it hit print. This 5 Days course is really designed to give you a curated, comprehensive overview into what's happening right now in the latest AI and agentic technology, hot off the press. Anant, can you actually tell a little bit of the origin story of these 5 Days courses?
Yes, thanks a lot, Brenda. Yeah, so that's a very interesting story. So as Brenda pointed out, when the Gen AI and the LLM revolution first took place back in 2020, end of 2022 and beginning of 2023, I realized that there's going to be a fundamental shift in how we do things, and hence that's going to lead to a big gap for developers into where they were current at that point of time and where they need to be, and learn all the concepts from embeddings to search to how LLMs work. There's a lot to learn to bring it available and make it accessible, just like Google's mission of organizing the information and making it universally accessible. That was the aim. However, doing so as a static publication, such as a book or so, would have been outdated, as Brenda pointed out very quickly. And hence, I brainstormed together with the Kaggle team this course, which takes a multimodal approach to meet you where you are, for your problems, which starting off from day 1 all the way to day 5, building upon concepts and utilize code labs, live streams, white papers, Discord, all of that to immerse you in an intensive course and enable you for your job and your personal career as well. So yeah, take it over, Brenda.
This is the fourth time we're running this course, and every time it's been totally different. It's been hard to anticipate like how it would change from one to the other. We ran an agents course in November, and now we're doing an updated course that really talks about the incredibly rapid development of agentic AI in the last 6 months. We're going to talk a lot more about the course and what it is we plan to cover, but we also wanted to use this opportunity to introduce ourselves to the Google Cloud audience, for those of you who don't know us yet. This course is a collaboration between Kaggle and Google, and we're especially excited to show off all the new Google tools that were launched during Next and I/O recently. Smitha, do you want to talk a little about some of the amazing things Cloud and DeepMind have recently launched?
Yes, absolutely. So between Google Cloud Next and I/O, we've shipped a stack of tools that completely change how developers build agents. So let me walk through some of the highlights, because a lot of this is also going to show up in the course as well. Let me start sharing my screen. So first up, Google Anti-Gravity. This is our agent-first development platform, and at I/O, we launched Anti-Gravity 2.0, which is a brand new standalone desktop. Think of it kind of as a central home for agent interaction. You can orchestrate multiple agents to run tasks in parallel, spin up dynamic sub-agents, schedule tasks for background automation, and it integrates natively with Google AI Studio, Android, and Firebase. And then there's also Anti-Gravity CLI, which gives you the same harness, same agent quality, just optimized for speed in your terminal. And then zooming out, all of this also connects into the Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, which is the evolution of Vertex AI. It's Google's comprehensive platform to build, scale, govern, and optimize agents. So you get model selection for 200 plus models in Model Garden, agent building, plus new capabilities for interaction, DevOps, orchestration, and really, most importantly, security and governance. So this is what lets enterprises actually trust agents to run autonomously. And then one of my favorite launches is actually all of the things that we've been doing with agents. So like ADK 2.0 for developers building agents, we shipped ADK 2.0, the agent development kit. This is engineering first, low floor, high ceiling. So you get a unified graph-based engine with a slider from dynamic model-read reasoning all the way to strict deterministic workflows. We also added ADK Kotlin in beta, basically ADK for Android, so your mobile agents can also coordinate seamlessly with your backend Python agents. And then there's also the managed agents API. So with just a single API call, you can spin up an agent that reasons, uses tools, and executes code in an isolated Linux environment. So it's powered by the anti-gravity agent harness, and it runs on Gemini 3.5 Flash and gives you persistent, isolated environments so you can resume across calls. Basically, manage the mission and not the machine. So Google Clouds handles all of the heavy lifting. And then lastly, but not least, we have the Google managed MCP servers. So to make all of this really useful in the real world, at Next, we announced more than 50 Google managed MCP servers that are now GA or in preview. This is what actually bridges your agents to the real world. So BigQuery, Maps, Workspace, Cloud Run, and many more. Every Google Cloud service is now an MCP enabled by default with enterprise-grade security, model armor for prompt injection defense, and then full observability built in. So the lines between where you prototype and where you deploy are basically dissolving. And that's exactly why we built this 5-day course, because there's actually so much to learn and you need someone to help you connect all of these dots.
Amazing. Well, my name is Brenda, as I said, and I'm from Kaggle. And when I tell people I'm from Kaggle, I get one of two responses. Either I get an, oh my gosh, I love Kaggle, and then a story about people's experience with Kaggle. I worked with it in college. I actually got my career started at, with Kaggle competitions, which is my favorite one to hear. Or I get a quizzical look at what's a Kaggle. Kaggle is best known historically as a machine learning competitions platform. We were founded well over 10 years ago, helping sort of democratize really complicated machine learning problems before AI became cool. For over a decade, we've hosted the world's greatest minds, solving complicated and important problems like protein folding, image recognition for bacterial structures, or even creating new metrics for the NFL. We've always been a place you could come to find the state of the art in machine learning solutions. We still host tons of challenging competitions, which I highly recommend you check out. But we've added some tools to help the community understand what works and what doesn't in AI. I'm going to show you last summer, we launched Game Arena. We had a really big moment where we launched chess as the very first game, where models would play each other head to head. Who's going to be better at chess, GPT 5.5 or Gemini 3.5 Flash. And we had this super fun time where we brought some of the greatest chess players in the world to deconstruct how these models play each other. And it was really educational. One of the fun things that we have with these games, that seem so trivial, is that especially having these models compete head to head in a well understood way, we can actually keep measuring how well they do. Because they're not being measured against a static benchmark, they're being measured against each other and how they perform. So, Game Arena has been part of our ability to analyze like what works and what doesn't in AI. The other big launch we've had in this last year is benchmarks. We host this benchmark platform for researchers or for just individuals who want to come in and, all of us have this way that we check a new model to say like, hey, how does this do on my tasks? I have a few questions I always ask. How does this work on it? These benchmarks, which are available to the public to create, let you set up those tasks for the LLMs. And then we will do all the work on the back end of plumbing them and having the models so that they can stay up to date. Again, like Smitha was saying, cloud makes it so you worry about the problem and not the machine. In our benchmark solution, Kaggle is making it so you can worry about the analysis and not the infrastructure. So that is what we're up to lately at Kaggle. And of course, the last part is this course where we bring together our community of 31 million and the Google community and the technology and the skills that were developed in order to support not just agentic AI, but all sorts of AI. To bring this cutting edge guidance to you on how to use these things like right now. I'm really excited that we get to do this together. And Anant, do you want to talk about like the third part of this? Like how is Google Cloud advancing agentic AI for customers?
Yes, thanks a lot, Brenda. So a lot of that has already been said by Smitha, and I would like to focus on a couple of aspects of this. First is the managed services which Google Cloud is providing. Since April's Cloud Next announcement, we have Agent Platform, which provides you a way to build your agents through high code or low code mechanisms, and then scale them to long-running agents through services like Agent Runtime, because it's super critical that agents not only run for a short period, but they actually run for days or even a week. And accomplish the task that you assign them, and then of course governing and optimizing the agents through agent evaluation, agent simulations, and many other agent gateway, etc. Which these are some services we, along with the ADK framework, which Smitha mentioned, these all allow you to build production-ready agents for enterprises. Now, in addition to that, we also have a Gemini Enterprise app, which allows employees to actually use the agent in an accessible fashion. This is similar to a SaaS solution, but it's very deeply connected with Agent Platform, where you build it and then you expose it via Gemini Enterprise app. In addition to all of this, there's another part of Google Cloud, which I'm also the product manager for, which is Gemini for Science. Some of you might have seen this in I/O. We launched Gemini for Science on Google Labs. And we have a couple of products there, especially Google's Alpha Evolve, as well as Co-Scientist, which allow you to run research and experimentation at unprecedented scales and even superhuman scales to allow you to solve the most complex problems, all the way from solving the ADOS problems to natural disaster prediction to fulfillment, as well as supply chain optimization. These Alpha Evolve and co-scientists are another like the science branch of Google Cloud, which I'm very excited about. You'll be hearing about some of this, a lot of this actually, and also what Smitha and Brenda talked about during the course.
Amazing. Well, I understand that there are questions that you are all sending in. If you haven't sent in your questions, please do so right away so that we can answer them. The first question that I got from the Kaggle Discord, which if you're going to join the course, like I invite you to join the Kaggle Discord. We'll put the link in because that's where we really communicate with the community one-on-one or in these real-time sessions. But Ella Charmed, who's been one of the stalwarts of the 5 days course on the Kaggle Discord, wants to know how many registrants this course has been getting. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, the last time we ran the course, we had 1.5 million people register. Now, that was a tremendously exciting and honestly kind of stressful moment because 1.5 million people is a lot. It turned out that not all of them were really there to learn about agents. Some of them were coming because of other reasons. And so we didn't think that 1.5 million was exactly what we were going to hit this time. We really wanted to focus on the developer community. We wanted to focus on people who are going to come and figure out how to take agents from vibe coding to production. And I'm delighted to say, like really honestly thrilled that we had just crossed the 250,000 mark for registrations for this course. So that is also a big number. And I think very many of you will be showing up and learning these skills and tools and joining us. So the answer is just over 250,000 as of this morning. All right, what other questions do we have? Oh, this is related. Ella also says, and hey, given that you have so many people, how is your infrastructure going to be able to stand up to all the people coming and learning about this? I'm happy to talk about it, but Smitha or Anant, do either one of you want to tackle this?
Happy to take that. So, well, we're making mechanisms available so that those of you who are there during the week, we have some free access in combination with free trial, which you'll be able to use and experiment with the course, and you can then graduate to use it for the more advanced services in your enterprise organizations if required. Brenda, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, everyone right now is discovering that, the reason we're building so many data centers is because more people want to use this stuff than we have the stuff available. Like, it's a very clear line. We're doing everything we can on our side to be ready for this 250,000 people who are going to show up in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. But, obviously we'll also need your patience if we do have a moment where things get really heavy. That's just a fact of life across the whole industry right now, that there's more demand for all of this AI than there is supply. So yes, we have plans in place. We're as prepared as we can be. We're super excited. And also your patience may still be required. Amazing.
We also got a question from Atish Salvi, and he says, so I built this agent and it's doing stuff. And every time the underlying models update, it may change behavior. So like, how do I actually evaluate and test it? So this is actually such a good question. And honestly, it's one of the biggest challenges in agentic development right now, right? So models update and then behavior shifts. And then suddenly your agent that was working perfectly yesterday is now doing something slightly different today. So how do you stay ahead of that? This is something that the course is going to highlight. We are going to deal with evaluation, but then also the good news is this is exactly what the Gemini Enterprise Agent platform was built for. There's a whole evaluation and observability suite designed for this specific problem. So that's one way to also look at it.
Yeah, and just to add on, we'll be covering a lot of this in day 3 and 4. And I think just also to think about it, what the agent platform will help you do is the model, your evaluation suite should not depend on the model. It should depend on the task the agent is performing, the trajectory it takes, the steps it takes, the tokens it consumes, and the end final results of the task. And as long as you can evaluate that, even if the model changes, as long as you're not doing a model-specific evaluation, it shouldn't be that brittle. And you should be able to use agent platform, as Smitha mentioned, to that. I mean, you'll be seeing a lot of the details in the course, so do tune in throughout the course.
Yeah, we're not going to give you all the answers. You'll just have to sign into the course. So these are the host organizations for the 5 days of AI Agents Intensive Vibe Coding course. Let's talk a little about what the course will cover and why you and your colleagues should sign up. For those who haven't joined for a previous version of the course, there are a bunch of different elements. We understand there are as many ways to learn as there are learners, and so our intensive course has a bunch of different ways to master the materials. For the engineering managers, the people who have been in the industry a long time, the folks who really like reading things, our white papers are tremendously valuable resources laying out the concepts of basically what's happening right now. What are agents? What are skills? How do these things work on a conceptual level? So often the information that's available right now is about the tools, and it's not about how these tools tie together to create a comprehensive software development lifecycle. The white papers, where we'll be releasing one white paper for each day of the course. They're finalizing the beautification process right now. There are things that you can either load into your agent for a summary or put into Notebook LM for a podcast, or if you're old school, you can print it out and read it with a highlighter. So that's sort of a very traditional learning model. We also have a series of code labs where we will show you how to apply these concepts in real life, at keyboard. And these code labs are designed to sort of demonstrate the concepts that you've learned, and they do have more of the tooling tie-in. So like, hey, here's a concept, here's a tool, and here's how they work together. We also have the Kaggle Discord server, which I just highlighted, where we take questions throughout the course, and where course authors and people who are actually writing these white papers, the folks who are doing the work, can engage with people who are using them to answer questions, understand limitations. It's a wonderful feedback loop for us to understand what might be obvious when you're living and breathing it every day, but maybe isn't so obvious if you're a learner coming in. So it's a great way to participate with our community. Anant specializes a lot in the white papers, and that's really where this course came from, was from these sort of academic documents. Anant, do you want to talk a little about who wrote these white papers, what people can expect to get from them, like why they're worth printing and highlighting?
Certainly, Brenda. I'm a big traditionalist in the sense that in the era of AI, where you can just ask models anything, having a comprehensive, expert-driven material, structured expert-driven material, which is easy on the eyes to read. Also, when you're traveling somewhere or in the plane, of course, you can feed it all to an agent. It's still valuable, very valuable, and that's the white papers have been the most popular part of our course in the last 4 iterations. So yeah, these white papers are written across Google, like across DeepMind, cloud, research, etc. Experts who specialize in the specific areas of the topic that they have written about, and it's been comprehensively reviewed by different experts as well. And they talk about everything from vibe coding in day one, where you introduce like agents, generic agents, as well as vibe coding, all the way to using agent tools and interoperability using agent protocols, and how this can be relevant for agents as well as vibe coding, all the way to day 3, where you talk about skills, agent skills, which allow you to make these things learn the concept of skills and how they can be composed and you utilize in the products and services, all the way to evaluation, security, especially for vibe coding. You might have heard a lot about vibe coding apps lacking security and the guardrailing those a bit. And then the last day we talk about vibe to life, which is about what are the production considerations and aspects that you can take to allow agents to vibe code for you or vibe code yourself and productionize these. Do keep in mind that this time around we'll be having 2 sets of white papers. One is the last course's white papers, which are updated, which was focusing on mainly about agents, less on vibe coding, mostly on agents. And then a new set we have freshly produced white papers focusing on the vibe coding or the AI assisted coding side of things. So you'll have all the material available that you can refer to when building with these. Yeah, so that'll be it, Brenda.
I'm really excited. It's really fun to see these all come together, and to see the real experts, the people who are building these systems, also writing these white papers with the concepts. Another part we're super excited about, which is an excellent practice for at least me, I won't be there though, is the live streams. Every day we have an hour-long live stream that we host all 5 days of the course. We bring in some of the guests, the white paper authors, some of the code lab authors, some of the executives who are making decisions about the direction we're going, to talk to you and take your questions from the Discord channel. And we also often review some of the course materials. This is the first time that Smitha, as I mentioned, will be joining us as the live stream host. Smitha, do you want to talk a little about the live streams and what you're looking forward to there?
Yeah, I'm honestly super pumped for the live stream. I think it's always great to hear directly from the people who are authoring and then driving all of these innovations that we're talking about. And then also during the live stream, what we'll do is we'll get a chance to actually talk with the leaders, engineers, and researchers who are actually deeply engaged in the development of agentic AI, especially here at Google. We will use this time to get the latest updates, and then you'll also get a chance to ask your questions from the Kaggle Discord server, and then review also some of the course materials for the day, and then we're going to be ending each day with a pop quiz.
Amazing. It's going to be really fun. It is scrappy. You're doing 5 of them. Anant gets pretty punchy by the end. So dial in and see what the fun is like. Anant, you want to finally talk about the capstone at the end?
Yeah, so since the second version of the course, we introduced something called the capstone, since we are doing this together with Kaggle. And one of the things we realized that Kaggle really excels at, and what everybody asked for in the first iteration, was, okay, you go through this intensive course, get the certification, get the knowledge, do the code labs, and you're all equipped and pumped to figure out, okay, I learned these individual pieces. How can I combine all of these pillars together to build something for your passion projects, for your work, etc. And that's where we introduced the capstone to allow you to leverage all that you have learned to build cool things. And we am excited to announce that on June 19th, we'll be launching the capstone. It'll be following a similar format to what we have in the last iterations, where you use the concepts to build something, talk about it, explain it to us, and then the ones which are the most impressive get some swag and announcements and amplification from us. But we also have a bit of a surprise on day one, a fun, not really a capstone, a fun challenge that we'll be providing you from the Kaggle site. So some of you might have heard about it already, but stay tuned for day one live stream.
I'm so impressed when we get the capstone projects. I think we had something like 16,000 people submit capstones last year. And just seeing on social media people's projects, the ability to show this portfolio of how you've mastered these cutting edge tools is so inspiring. And it is really, really hard to pick the best of them out of that set. These are the sorts of problems I like to have. So, get ready. We're going to have the course. We're going to teach you the skills you're going to need. And then you get to show your work to us and to the world with these capstone projects. One of the questions that I've gotten quite a lot in the run up to this course is, who is this course for? And you might be asking yourself the question, is this course for me? We have a lot of options that we see as this course being beneficial. We definitely want to reach existing technology professionals who have gotten the message that development now involves AI and aren't really sure what that means or how to put it into their software development lifecycle. I think as someone who's been developing software for decades, it's moved really, really fast. And all of a sudden, there's this real push to say, we are now developing software in a way that we weren't before, except all of your CS courses don't matter anymore because they're obsolete, and there are no books because we can't write them fast enough. So good luck figuring that out. I don't know, go ask Gemini. Gemini can help you a lot with this, but this course is really intended to be curated. So it will walk through the concepts, the skills, the techniques, and the tools that you will need to use all of these cutting edge tools from the beginning of an idea or a design process to the end of the implementation and deployment. So really, technology professionals, this is for you. Get it in your sprint planning, get your team to take the week off and do it together. This is really intended to help you take that next step in your career into this new agentic AI era. We also think that AI enthusiasts are going to love this course. So the folks who are so passionate, so enthusiastic, so excited about the possibilities that are opened in this AI era, this course is for you too. And one of the biggest populations that we get in these courses are, of course, the students. So if you're in school and you're looking at a fast-changing world and you're wondering where you're going to fit into it, this is a really great way for you to understand what's happening at this moment in sort of a course curriculum that may be more familiar to you from like other educational courses. So if you're a professor and you want to bring your class, if you're a student, these are the three groups that we're mostly thinking about when we're writing the course. If you don't fit into that profile, but you still want to take the course, you're deeply welcome to join us. So come along. All right, let's see if there's any more questions. Mohammed Faik bin Shahid on LinkedIn has asked, will we build hands-on agents? Anant, you want to talk about that?
Yes, gladly. Yes, you will. You'll be, in fact, one of the day one fun challenge that we'll throw your way will also be. But do bear in mind that this course, this updated version, is using vibe coding, and vibe coding focuses a lot on vibe coding to build agents and to do other, like, build software. And agents are a kind of software, right? So you'll be hearing a lot about our other products and like the technologies as well. But if you'd like to specifically focus only on the agents, then there's also stuff in the last course which we'll refer to, which you can refer to for more detail.
All right, there's one other question here. Let's see if either Smitha or Anant would like to answer this. What are the ways that people should prepare for this course in advance? And this is from Anup Vyas from LinkedIn.
I think the white paper is a really great resource to start. And Anant, maybe you can add on to other resources.
I think, Smitha, I think they mean like before the course begins. White papers will be released only after the course.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, I would say go through the previous courses material about agents generally, and also make sure you know some Python, and yeah, make sure that you are ready for the vibe coding course. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be useful if you want to look at some of the things we've done in the previous courses. We will be updating and building on it, but those can be useful. This course will require some technical knowledge. So if you, for instance, never looked at Python, it'll be useful, especially in the sort of more productionizing agents part. If you're just a pure vibe coder, you can just purely vibe code, but you'll want to make sure that you have an idea about what you want to do, for instance, for your Capstone project. It'll be coming hard and fast. So like coming into this with an idea of what is it that I would want to demonstrate my skills with can be really useful preparation. Also, the last thing you can do to prepare is clear your calendar. Like when we say intensive, we mean intensive. Like this is truly like if you're engaging with all the materials, I've heard people say that it takes somewhere from 4 to 8 hours, depends on how fast you read. Are you reading the white papers? Are you listening to them as a podcast? So create some time and space for yourself to really engage with this material and take the opportunity to master it.
Yes, and do share with your community and the people you think, and make sure that the material will only be available for people who register during the course, and the capstone will be time bound. So make sure that you learn all the concepts during the week for this. Smitha?
And also a great thing that you can do to begin with is actually start playing around with AI Studio or Anti-Gravity. Try to like play around vibe coding yourselves before you actually jump into this.
All right, we're coming close to the wrap up here. Anant, last thoughts?
Well, I'm really excited for everybody to join us. And if you're wondering where the course link is, well, we'll be sending a call to action. Please do come in excited. Make sure your calendar is clear, and also come in with the knowing how knowing what problems you're gonna solve once you learn how to vibe code, how you're gonna 10x your productivity, you build exciting. As Demis said, there's enough problems in the world to solve right now. So what kind of problems you're going to be solving? Yeah, that'll be it. And we are looking forward to share it with your community and fellow developers. Yeah, that'll be it from my side. Thanks a lot, Brenda and Smitha, for joining us.
Smitha, last thoughts on your side?
One thing I'm really excited about this course is actually how interactive it's going to be. So I'm super excited to see what the community does. I also highly recommend people watching to join the Kaggle Discord server to get your questions answered on the live stream, and then also connect with other fellow learners out there. It's going to be an awesome community to join. We're also super impressed and amazed at the quality and creativity of the submissions in the Capstone Challenge from last year. So we're also excited for this year as well. So get your agents ready.
All right. I am super excited for this course. It's always a wild ride. This is a lot of people coming together to do stuff that wasn't announced that long ago. So we're grateful for your patience and your collaboration, as well as for your enthusiasm and excitement. If there's one thing we want you to take away, it's what I'm showing on my screen, which is to come and register for the course. You can find this course at kaggle.com. It's right on the front page. We made sure of that. And you can come, click the register button, and then you'll be part of the course and get materials as soon as they become available each day to participate with the live streams, the white papers. You can join the Discord server now. Generally speaking, though, we're super excited to have you joining us on June 15th and cannot wait to do this with you. So thank you so much, Anant and Smitha. And thank you to all of the white paper authors, all the Code Lab authors. There are almost 100 people behind the scenes who've worked to make this course happen. And they are absolutely unsung heroes whose work will have real impact, I think, in the lives of the people who are learning about these things. So thanks.
And let's not forget people, our leads who help us organize it. Polong Lin, Fran Hinkelman, Kanchana, as well as Sarah, and you'll be hearing about some of this, but big kudos to them as well. See you.
Yeah, we're just the face of a large team that's doing this work for you. So thanks to all of them, and thanks to you for joining us for this live stream. And I really appreciate Smitha and Anant your time today.
See you soon, everyone.
See you.
Cheers, folks.